So I'm from Bastl Instruments. We're a modular company and desktop company out of Brno, Czech Republic. Today we brought a full modular rig, including our soft pop, but then our two new modules, the crust, which is based off our pizza platform. The pizza platform.
You said pizza.
Yeah, pizza. Yeah. And then there's toppings on the pizza. So we have pizza, we have basil, which is our delay modules, and then crust, and then our delay desktop, the Thyme. So all toppings for the main pizza. Yeah, so the crust, what the crust is that it's based off our pizza platform. It's a different firmware, meaning that you can buy the crust, but then if you have a crust or a pizza or a basil, you could flash the firmware to try out any of the other modules. The faceplates are different, but the actual firmware is different on each of the modules. So how crust works is that where the FM slider is on the pizza, on the crust is actually a layer between tone and noise. There's an envelope that goes in forward or in reverse, so that you can get kind of like Autechre-esque kind of reverse sweeps on either the snare or the kick drum. On the filter section, you can choose between filter, clipping, and shape. So if I want to filter out high pass or low pass, and then we have shaping and clipping, where there's a transient shaper on the shaper here. There's a control knob that can be assigned to any of the parameters, so anything can be modulated by CV on here. So that would be here. You can use CV to sweep between the layers, between kick and noise, or tone and noise. There's a volt per octave control, so you can apply CV to have kind of tonal shaping, or kind of notes. An envelope out, and then an envelope CV. So the envelope CV, that controls that forward and backwards envelope. And I have it running into the Thyme right now. The Thyme, or Thyme Plus, that's our new version of the Thyme that we had previously. We've redesigned it, so we have a metal enclosure on top of it, PC board on the top, and then a step sequencer. So the step sequencer can run for 4 banks of 8 patches. So every time I'm choosing here, I'm choosing a new patch that I've created. And it's quite easy to use, so we can dial in. And so we can turn down the tape speed.
It's an instrument, or is it?
I think of it kind of like as, and we think of it as like a digital tape reel. So imagine a destructive tape reel that you can modulate any of the parameters on this device, and it's a tape loop with 8 different steps that you can apply to it. So you can create really interesting sequences on the fly while you're performing, but then you can run that step sequencer as well. The other thing that's really interesting about this device is that you can apply any of these LFO shapes to any of the parameters. So say if I'm on this setting here, and I want to apply a robot to, say, tape speed. So I'll choose robot, I'll apply it to tape speed, and dial that in. And now you can see that it's being applied to the tape speed there. And that can be applied for any of the basic kind of modulation shapes, random, and then an envelope, and then CV also can control everything on that device. Again, there's 4 banks with 8 patches, so I can choose another bank. When I have a totally separate set of sounds that I've created. So yeah, that's our new Thyme Plus.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you.
So he became known as the time code guy. The film stuff we got into, in film, there's a lot of money at play, right?
Yeah.
So you can't have problems.
Yeah, it has to work.
And
It's
so
mission
we
critical.
wound up working with him for the last 30 years in Hollywood.
Okay.
And we solve problems for people. And one of the problems was routing. There's a lot of things, monitoring for multi-track, for surround, for Atmos. So he solved those sort of problems.
Okay.
And what we're long-term getting to is at some point you're going to be able to buy what you need, every function from a console.
Okay.
You'll be able to buy it, the parts you need, when you need them, and expand them out.
Okay.
Because we've always thought big console that you have to throw maintenance at forever is probably not the easiest thing. You want things small enough you can UPS them and have them back the next day. So we have here your routing, we have your gain control, we have summing, we have a mic preamp that when we do the official rollout in Sheffield on October 5th, that you'll have, and you'll have triggers off that. You'll have envelope out of that.
Okay.
We're basically at the last day, yes, in New York last October. One of our friends who's in charge of the Atmos room for Netflix said, "Hey, I got this hobby. Why don't you make some stuff for me?"
Okay.
And since we're a small community of audio geeks, I was doing this. I was building Moog Studios back in '69. If someone's making music with it, that was interesting. So we got into this.
So this is a eurorak, but I mean, you've got patch bays, you've got gain and sum, and all of this is controlled by a processor. You can save the preset of how it's routed.
We can save 128 presets.
128 presets.
And you can either run them as one of the 8 triggers there, just to push one.
So you get triggers, you can trigger, you've got inputs and outputs as a patch bay. They can be split.
Yeah, you can set one of them to feeds 16 low impedance long lines if you need to go to guitars, amps.
And everything can be controlled by the brain, the ER processor you have here. You also have USB, so I guess you can connect to the computer. Do you have a?
It has USB and it has Ethernet because our stuff is designed future-proof.
Yeah.
Some of our latest time code devices, they do not all the regular MIDI time code and longitudinal time code. They also do time code out on the net.
Okay.
Because that's what we've been doing, is staying ahead of the curve and making things obsolete-proof for a long time.
That's cool. That's great. So, I mean, if I understand correctly, somebody has a modular kit, a eurorak synthesizer. He wants to do a live show, and he patches stuff differently between songs. With this, everything could be patched, and he could pre-record the presets for each of the songs. And he would just trigger the different presets.
You can run MIDI time code, and literally, if you're running the sort of sync show, some
kind of
people
repatch
do.
on the fly.
It says the time is, we're doing this song, do that.
This is amazing.
Well, it's totally convenient if you're doing anything complicated.
The first company I heard making something like that.
Well, we've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but for you, eurorak.
It's just a friend said, "Hey, this is my hobby. Can you help me?"
Yeah, this is cool. That's great. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.